Everybody moved like brothers, and everybody from different places. Milwaukee, St. Louis, Detroit, Texas, Atlanta, Cali, you know what I'm saying, Florida. We got people from everywhere in our mind. Everybody move as one. Everybody is prospering in some kind of way, in their own way. Every man plays his own role, and everything starts with the leader. I'm a good leader, so I got good people that follow. You know what I'm saying? It's simple. If you can only be like the nigga that's running your crew. If you got a robbing ass boss, then you're gonna be a robbing ass crew. If you got a real boss who know how to sacrifice and take the bad along with the good and show his crew know how to be men, then this what you get. Everybody shining like new money. There ain't no other crew like this in the world, and there never will be another. Not black. It never will be, because they said that if niggas like this is shining all together, being together, doing shit every day, then they gonna fall out over some money or somebody gonna rob, steal, and kill. I have yet to see that. All of us get along with money. We have money, we been had money. Money ain't nothing without us being together. It don't make no difference if you the maid or if you the motherfucking bodyguard. Everybody get extras around here, friends benefits. Everybody travel from place to place and kick it with each other, and every place is like home. Every place we stay at, LA, Atlanta, Detroit, we have homes, our own homes. We don't have to go in and rent shit. We got our own houses, we got our own cars, we got our own hoes, we got our own clothes. You know what I'm saying? And we can't be stopped. I don't see nobody stopped. I don't see none to come after us either. None. Nobody will never do this again, because this many niggas and this much money can't get along and stay together. They gonna fall out over girls or something. We don't fall out over no girls. We hit them all. They hit my hoes, I hit they hoes. The ones that don't want to be shared, then that's your own personal one. Other than that, then we ain't falling out over no hoes. And we got all type of niggas around here. Short niggas, tall niggas, bald niggas, light skin, dark skin, braids, dreads, fat, whatever you want. Whatever a woman want, we got right here. See what I'm saying? So we get all kinds of women, models, nobody, hood rats, everything. We do it all. We don't discriminate. Matter of fact, after you leave here, you end up getting your teeth on something and coming up with something better. You know what I'm saying? Like a new car, new house, maybe the kids get to go to school, private school, paid for, courtesy of the mom. You know what I'm saying? We pay. You know, that's simple. A lot of niggas don't like to spend their money. We love to spend our money. We can't take none of this shit with us.
Big Meech should be at the halfway house in late 2024 with his newest federal court victory. But how did it really work out that way? I think I'm Big Meech, Larry Hoover, whipping work, hallelujah. One nation under God, real getting money from the start. I think I'm Big Meech, Larry Hoover, getting work, hallelujah. One nation under God, real getting money from the start. On September 12, 2008, over 15 years ago, inside a small federal courtroom in the Theodore Levine Federal Courthouse, an anxious crowd gathered to witness the symbolic end of the government's 2-decade investigation into the Black Mafia family. One of the U.S. Marshals on some tough guy shit would bark an order that he wanted no outbursts or people would be removed. Within minutes, out would walk a slender man that to many was unrecognizable, that had not seen him in a while. He would stare ahead in rimless glasses. Life as he knew it was forever over. Lucille Flannery would tell her young grandson that the man who had just lost 100 pounds was in fact his Uncle T. The bespectacled man, Lucille's son, was anxious, nervous, not knowing exactly what his fate was to become. Big Meech would shuffle behind him in an orange jumpsuit, he too not knowing what his fate was to become. Sweat forming on his brow, hair pulled back in a ponytail, the tattooed letters BMF showing above his collar, glaring at those to his left. He would flash a nervous smile to his friends and family that were there to witness what was surely to come. The moment that no one thought would ever happen when they were getting money was now here. Both men had rejected a trial and chose to plead guilty to federal drug charges. From the streets of Detroit, they would rise in the drug crime world to build a massive multi-state cocaine empire, headquartered in Atlanta and LA. In less than 2 decades, the Flannery brothers and their Black Mafia family, according to court documents, amassed a $270 million fortune. The drug organization relied on an estimated 500 employees, and with Meech's guidance, BMF helped jumpstart the careers of some of Atlanta's best-known rappers. That included Young Jeezy, who would also be implicated in the case during the federal trial for Fleming Daniels. Daniels would later be convicted of a cocaine conspiracy, along with Barima, Blue Da Vinci McKnight. McKnight would later be sentenced to 5 years and 4 months on October 30th, 2008. But Daniels wouldn't be so lucky. At the trial, the government would introduce evidence about Daniels' role in the Black Mafia family and the changes to his lifestyle during the conspiracy. Witnesses testified that Daniels used cash to purchase expensive luxury items and flaunted his wealth with flamboyant jewelry. Daniels countered with evidence that he provided security for an entertainment group named the Black Mafia family, developed and cultivated relationships with individuals in the rap music industry, and acquired wealth as a music producer. To refute Daniels' argument that he had a legitimate source of income, the government introduced evidence about Daniels' failure to file tax returns during the term of the conspiracy. In the end, he would end up with a 20-year sentence after being found guilty by a jury of his peers. Today, at the age of 50, he is still in federal prison in Cashapp, Georgia, with a release date of July 2025. Both Fleming and Big Meech will likely walk out of prison around the same time, late 2024, heading to the halfway house. Big Meech was hoping for 20 years as well as his brother. Most of the people who crowded the courtroom to witness the brother's sentencing were hopeful the judge would be lenient. Meech's close friend, Tammy Cowens, said before the hearing that both brothers have family members who've depended on them financially, including Meech's at the time 8-year-old son and 2 older daughters, as well as Terry's daughter. Cowens, who had traveled from her home in Atlanta to attend the hearing, said Meech used his drug money to give back to his family and the community. He's portrayed as this heartless gangster with no love and compassion, and he's actually the total opposite, Judge. He took care of a lot of people. A lot of people ate off of Demetrius. With the 2 Flannery brothers seated in front of him, U.S. District Court Judge Avern Cohen asked to hear from Terry first. Terry spoke in a quiet, steady voice. He told the judge he'd never been in trouble before. He described how he's been telling other inmates to use my life as an example to lead them in the other direction. And he said he was sorry he wasted the Fed's time. I'd like to apologize to the government for my ignorance and for them having to spend countless hours working this case, he would say. I'd like to apologize to the many families hurt by the result of this ignorance. Judge Cohen's response was sharp, and it was swift. I think you're a very lucky man that it took the government this long to build a case against you. The judge would read Terry's sentence so quickly that many of the people in the stands would miss it. The judge handed down a 30-year sentence to be spent in the Federal Bureau of Prisons. As Terry was cuffed and led out of the courtroom, Meech and his attorneys were asked to approach the bench. Meech's Atlanta-based lawyer, Drew Findling, scrambling after the sentence handed down to Big Meech's brother, would tell the judge that Meech had requested a meeting with Terry shortly after Meech entered a guilty plea. During the meeting, Meech advised his brother to do the same, an act that would spare the government a lengthy, expensive trial, Judge. The Assistant U.S. Attorney, Don Eisen, would respond, saying Meech shouldn't be credited for Terry's guilty plea. That meeting did not go very well, she would tell the judge. In fact, it was disastrous. Eisen contended that it wasn't Meech who persuaded Terry to plead. She said it was Terry's father. When it came time for Meech to address the judge, he apologized and said he knew an apology wasn't enough. I don't think I'm sorry is the right thing to say, he would tell the judge. I'm sorry is what people say when they get caught. The judge would swiftly sentence Big Meech to 30 years, the same as his brother. As he walked out of the courtroom, Meech would turn to smile again at his friends and family. His mother would weep lightly for her 2 sons that now seemed to have been buried alive. Once she walked out, she would sob in the embrace of Cowens and her granddaughters. Once Meech was sentenced, people believed he was forever gone, or at least for the next 30 years. The same for Southwest T, his brother. But today, Southwest T is in Detroit, and to a certain extent, a free man. Tammy Cowens would, as some allege, become caught up with the law later on down the road. Some say she became a confidential informant for the DEA Atlanta in 2009, when she provided information in a money laundering case, which resulted in the successful prosecution and conviction of an individual named Terry White. Although Cowens was not initially a paid DEA informant, her controlling agent, Agent Harvey, would later say that she was put in for an award that would be a percentage of the value of the property forfeited by White because information provided by Cowens, who was known as CS1, was so beneficial that the DEA made seizures from White. After Agent Harvey retired in 2001, Cowens, CS1, became a paid DEA informant under the supervision of TFO Fred Swoop and TFO Swoop supervisor, DEA Atlanta Group Supervisor Keith Cromer. Although the precise scope of CS1's duties after Agent Harvey's retirement is not entirely clear, court paperwork would say, CS1 testified credibly that she was paid on a monthly basis for things like picking up money or drugs and or making phone calls and drug investigations. According to the testimony of Agent Cromer, CS1 was paid on a monthly basis for providing actionable information that could lead investigators to a drug source of supply, and ongoing long-term drug investigations. For example, according to Agent Cromer, information from CS1 that Fidel Suarez, a California-based Mexican national, known to law enforcement to be a suspected drug distributor, and Gatling, or a man named Cuff, were conspiring to engage in drug trafficking activity was the sort of actionable information for which CS1 might receive payment. When CS1 became a DA informant, CS1 was and had been a longtime friend and associate of Big Meech. Specifically, CS1 held Big Meech's power of attorney and life rights with creative control, the right to tell and presumably sell Flannery's life story for profit. The paperwork in the Diani Gatling case would say in September 2011, Big Meech requested CS1's help coordinating delivery of a load of cocaine to be controlled by Suarez, who at that point was already in contact with CS1. In his mind, he would be 61 years old when he got out. What did he have to lose? But the law had other plans. He just didn't know about them yet. CS1 credibly testified that she first met Suarez by telephone when Suarez contacted CS1 to ask how Big Meech was doing. Big Meech confirmed that he and Suarez were friends and that they had met in the county jail in Michigan. Although CS1 did not meet Suarez in person, she spoke with Suarez by phone and text. Additionally, Suarez would send CS1 a picture of himself. As with Suarez, Gatling first contacted CS1 to see how Big Meech was doing in jail. Based on discussions with both Gatling and Demetrius, CS1 understood that Gatling and Flannery were friends. Initially, CS1's relationship with Gatling was more of a business relationship, and the communications centered more around Demetrius's life rights. However, at some point, Demetrius asked CS1 to connect Gatling and Suarez, and the relationship between CS1, Gatling, and Suarez turned to narcotics. Many people have speculated that Cowens helped Meech, but she would testify at a hearing that Meech had no involvement in any drug trafficking activities between Suarez and Gatling, and deny that she ever informed DA agents that Big Meech was involved. In the end, what got Big Meech going home now? He would reach out to one of the best attorneys in the business, freedom fighter Brittany Barnett, the same high-powered attorney who would help on Kim K's mission to free Chris Young. And she also was instrumental in freeing infamous D.C. drug kingpin Tony Lewis, Rayful Edmonds' co-defendant. The Sentencing Commission would drop amendments, and the one that would shave off years for Big Meech now was Amendment 821. The amendment applies to offenders with no criminal history points, including 1, offenders with no prior convictions. This would drop Big Meech's base offense level, resulting in Judge Lawson reducing Meech's sentence from 324 months and/or 27 years to 292 months and/or 24.33 years. You can expect to see Meech in a town near you at the age of 55 years old before Christmas 2024. With all the time he has in, he will likely be released to the halfway house with 12 months or more. With Brittany Barnett behind him, you can bet she's already on the job to make it happen.